Hi everybody, Ben here from Art Less Ordinary. So today I am going to do a Gina deluca inspired no silicone cell pour. So I've managed to go and get all the paints that I needed, which are in the Liquidex Basics brand. So in Australia these aren't too cheap, so I have hesitated using them a lot. So I've used them on very small pieces here and there, but I just wanted to see how it goes. So I've got Liquidex Basic Cadmium Yellow Light Hue in this cup. I have I always get this one wrong. Quinacridione Magenta here. The orange is these two colours mixed, the yellow and the magenta. I have Prism Violet and I have dioxazine purple. Now, the only difference I am doing is, for my base colour, I'm going to use my Marte black. Otherwise, I'd have to use nearly a whole tube of Liquidex Basics, and I don't have enough of it really to do that. So I have mixed all of these. So all the are 10 grams paint, 20 grams floetrol, and then I have added water to thin them down to quite a thin consistency where they don't really leave a mound, or it disappears like very instantly. The Mont black is similar, apart from this is 45 grams paint, 90 grams floetrol, and then water to add it down until it does the same consistency where it doesn't leave a mound. My lighting in here isn't good enough for me to hold it up to the camera to show you, but we'll do it as we go. But I do have something to show you. So this is my last artwork, and it has dried absolutely wonderful. The copper has come out purple, but in the right light it shimmers copper, so it looks a little bit color shift in my eyes. Can't really hold it much lower. I hope you guys are getting the colors in there. I love this. I'm super happy with this grey background. I think white would have been a little bit too I don't know. I just think the grey has actually just been a little bit better for me in that regards. Now, I am just going to get myself a paper cup. I put one down and now I've misplaced it. I'm going to have to pause it and go get myself a paper cup. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I knew I put one down and here it is. So what I would like to do with this is I need to pour these paints in. This might be slightly too big, but that doesn't really matter. It just means a bit of extra paint will be left in the cup. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I think my next size down won't be big enough. Some of these cups I've got don't actually give you how much is in them, and I don't think that size is enough. The next size down won't be big enough anyway, so no point worrying about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour the darkest colour in first. I want to show you the whole process. Also, it teaches me, because I keep these videos and I can actually see where I've done good or bad, if it turns out or doesn't turn out. I've not done this before, so I don't exactly know what results I'm going to get. Now I'm going to go the Prism Violet. I'm going to pour it down in the same corner. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going darkest to lightest. Now the magenta over the top of where I put that violet. Now the orange. Quite possibly that next cup down might have been big enough. But I would rather know that I've got enough space than find out later on I didn't. And last of all, the yellow. So I'm going to put that aside for the moment. And now I am going to cover the canvas with the black. There may be too much black. It probably doesn't matter because you'll end up tipping it off anyway, but this cup's not easy to hold one-handed. Okay, I don't scrape the black. For some reason, I find I get different tones of black when I do actually scrape the bottom of the canvas out. So, because I know I've got enough paint, I can do this relatively quickly, because it doesn't matter if I pour some off the edges while trying to cover all surfaces. So this being my mont marte, I didn't mind if I had that little bit extra because it's not as expensive. And the reason I use black is because it's an opaque. I think from what I've seen, you get better results using an opaque base than you do a transparent base. But I would have to admit, I don't get a chance to watch every video. I watch bits and pieces while on my lunch break at work. Oh. So this is one of those naughty canvases, which actually has, it feels like it's still got some oil on it from the process of making it. That you tend to have just little bits that the paint doesn't stick to as easy. I don't like them. Yeah. But you get that sometimes. Okay. I'm going to throw that away. So I'm going to tilt this just so I can see if there's any what I call globs or thick bits of paint that are in there, because I did just find one bit, and I want to make sure that was the only piece. So tilting is usually the best way to tell. I'm not actually tilting over the edges, or not trying to. I'm just trying to see unusual movements. Because you don't want them, they will create problems. I think that might be it. Since the weather changed, I've noticed I've started to get globs a little bit in my paints. So where I live, the temperature does fluctuate quite relatively. The nights are, well, cold for where I live, but the daytime temperatures still warm up. So it's still getting close to 30 during the day, but nighttime is dropping down to about 7 degrees. This is Celsius, so it's just a little bit frustrating. Paint everywhere. Okay, so there's the base coat. All of that is doing is just so my other paint rolls better. Instead of rolling over itself, it kind of glides. Alright, I am getting reactions in this cup already, so I'm going to pinch this and I'm going to do rings. Relatively large rings too. I bring it down to smaller rings as the cup gets closer to being emptied. Okay. So as I said before, this is the first time I've done this with the Liquitex Basics. So you have to kind of give me a little bit of leadway if it's not turning out perfect. So now this is the part you have to have some patience with. You need to leave it until more cells appear. As you can see, I am getting reactions, but I want more. And I was hoping this black would have actually gone off and not actually gone underneath. That's probably why you would use the same, like maybe the purple there, but I decided to use the black. Alrighty. So from here, we would like to torch it. I always blow my torch to make sure there's no dust on it, because for some reason dust finds its way everywhere. Now I'm just going to pop all the bubbles that I can, including in the black. That should be enough. And that bit of dust. Okay, as we can see, cells are appearing. I am getting that green colour, but I did notice that once I poured the, I don't think it was the pink onto the purple, or it might have been the orange, started getting a little bit of green tone. Doesn't worry me. I don't know what I'm going to get, so I'm kind of happy for anything. So now I'm going to tilt. Now this is the part you got to go very, very slow with. So when you do watch people's videos, you have to actually listen and learn from it. Otherwise, you're just watching pretty patterns move around. By watching and learning, you're actually stopping yourself making the same mistakes. Which actually saves you a lot of money in paint, canvases, and time. So I'm going close, but I don't want it to touch the edges at any spot yet. Bring your paint back down to the center. This is a lot more fluid than I am used to working with, so I'm having to be a little bit controlled with my movements. So I'm hoping the Mont actually works as a base, because it's a lot cheaper and it's something I can afford to do. If I know that these work with only the colours I make up, I've only used 10 grams of paint for each colour. So that's not going to break the bank by doing a different art form or a different type of art. I think the challenge for me is going to be my back. Now I've brought the paint back to the center. I'm going to go this way. Always just watching what's going on. And I'm barely tilting this. It is so more fluid. It's kind of learning a whole new way of tilting, really. So slowly. Oops, so slightly run over the edge. I'm standing in a position which is not being great for my back, so I think I may have to actually start tilting over the edges, because I'm going to get a little bit too sore and irritable, and then I'll rush things a little bit too much. So I'm just trying to go up to this corner as well as that top part too. So I'm nearly there, and I'm going to go over. Whoops. Yeah, that was very difficult to do. I'm going to have to hop down onto my knees, I think. Oh. this is really fluid, and it's actually not. I'm gonna have to practice this a little bit, I think, because I am really not used to it. So I'm gonna have to go over this corner and then come back. I don't know if I'm tilting too fast when I get close to the edges. I don't really want any of this black base either. So as I go over this side, the corner, I want the sides to go over as well. Now I'm going to have to go over this bottom part. Excellent. Now, I'm going to kind of do what I did before. Kind of go over the side and up to the corner. So I'm going to slightly start tilting it to the corner. Bring it back a little bit. And then go up this way. Okay. Bring the paint down a little bit. I've got to get rid of a glob I can see right here. So the black base is actually kind of pushing its way through a little bit. So I'm just going to stretch this. I actually think I may tip a little bit more off that edge over at that top corner. Now bring it down, trying to stretch it out. See how I'm getting a lot more cells down the bottom here? It's because that paint has been stretched a lot more than the other paint. So I'm going to see if I can get a little bit more paint off. And then bring it back down. I'm going to slow it down now. See if I can stretch out that other end. Looks like it's working. I'm getting some reactions up there. I'm getting a lot of black reactions coming through. So that there is the Marte, probably a different brand, reacting with the Liquidex Basics and kind of separating, kind of making black pearls in a way. Not getting a lot of cells up the top there. Just going to keep moving this around, seeing what reactions I get. So as you'll know with any new technique, you got to practice it to learn how it works and how it behaves. I don't think I have got it down pat. I think this black is actually creating reactions in the other colours. I kind of feel like the Liquitex Basics is thinner. In the cup, the black felt thinner, but on the canvas, the colours actually feel thinner. And the way that they're rolling over the edge and the black is kind of separating the colour from itself. Okay. Well, I'm getting nice effects on the parts that I've tipped off onto the puppy pad. So I can't do too much more tilting. My back isn't going to allow it. Sorry, I had a car crash 16 years ago and my back is not 100%. So I'm going to leave it as that. But what I need to do is pause it and see what reactions happen. See if these cells enlarge, move around, or what's going to happen. But this black is giving me very different effects to what I was thinking I was going to get. And this is the thing, trying something new, you gotta just work out and see what happens and what really is gonna turn out. But don't know if you can see the paint on the side, but really cool reactions with the, it is actually reacting with the Liquitex Basics and the Marte together. It's like they don't want to blend, they want to stay separate. So they're pushing against each other. It's actually the black. The black's pushing the Liquitex Basics out of the way and kind of creating like slithers of colour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this. I'm going to let it settle into itself and see what happens in, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I'll see what happens and then I'll come back soon. Okay, let's go pause. Okay, I'm back. So, definitely got more reactions between the two different brands of paint. So, the Marte and the Liquitex Basics are reacting with each other, which is causing all these like black cells to come up and push through the Liquitex Basics colours, which I wasn't expecting. But that's what happens. You got to learn your paints. So I will have to try this again another time with a Liquitex Basics base coat and not an actual Marte, and see if I don't get that same reaction. And again, you have to test it to actually figure it out whether it's going to do that or not. The cup is pretty cool. I did get cells within the cadmium yellow. So you can see there's cells there, but I think the black has pushed through and push them out of the way a little bit and change their shape. I like this, but I don't love it, just because I probably didn't get the... What happens is when you have a plan in your head and it doesn't work, sometimes you don't like an artwork as much as you could, when it's only because the plan that you had is different. When you put it aside and look at it later on, you might like it heaps then, because your expectations of what it should have been is different to what results you have. So in saying that, it is quite different. It's quite unusual. The black is actually quite good because the black is black. By reacting with the other paints, it's pushed it out the way and hasn't really blended, and it's created very, very black cells, which I kind of am happy about. I didn't really want them to come out different colours, and it is actually hard to get yellow and black without getting a lot of unusual green colours because of the mixing of those two colours together. So I've always wanted a black and yellow artwork, and I've kind of got it. So I actually might experiment with this in a different way. So not doing this exact pour, but to see what I get by using these two different brands and these colours, to see what I actually achieve then. But yeah, didn't get kind of the fire opal look that Gina got, But that could be for many reasons, and you have to learn the paints. I haven't used Liquidex Basics before, or only once, and I'm having to learn how they work and how they behave. But this is it. So cells all the way around the edges, and then I've got like these waves that come through. It has given me a solid area in the middle of just the Liquidex Basics colours, which are unusually blended, not in a bad way, and just different again. So this could change a little bit more because it is still very wet, but we will see. But I can tell by the reactions, because the parts that have poured off have given me very similar reactions. The black is pushing the colours together or away and creating unusual effects. But that's the fun of it. So I'm going to pause this and bring you down for a close-up. So there is the whole artwork. As you can see, very different to what I had planned. Well, what I had planned in my head, actually. Let's come down and have a look. Yeah, when you try to focus on the black, it washes out the colours. These colours aren't so washed out. Let me see if I turn this light off. Would that give me more true colours? Not so much. Can I adjust it? That's probably a little bit more correct. But as we can see, really different effects to what I normally was thinking. But it's lovely black cells. And this yellow is really vibrant with these black cells around it. It's just not showing in the camera. No, I can't adjust the colours the right way. But very different. Kind of cool. I think this will grow on me actually as I see it more and as it dries. So experiment, experiment, experiment and see what you get. So I hope you like this video. Sorry it's slightly longer than normal. And comment, leave a comment, like, share and subscribe if you have not already. And I will see you soon for another pour. Not too sure what I'm doing next. So have fun and I'll catch you then. All right, bye.